How's it going? It's Rocky, your full-time stay-at-home dad trading futures for a living. Welcome to week 18 on our trading journey in the year 2025. So there will be 3 topics that I'd like to discuss today, so please feel free to jump into the section that you're most interested in. The first one I'll go through 2 trades, and in these 2 trades I was in profit and I did exit, and basically I'm going to talk about FOMO and the importance of knowing when to stop trading while in profit. And then our second and our third topic will just be the transparency of my journey. I'll go through my account statement on NinjaTrader, followed by my account statement on ThinkOrSwim. And before we get started, just a quick disclaimer: this is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions. So here we will discuss the 2 trades that I took this week. I actually took a total of 5 trades this week. And what we have on the chart is the weekly for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You can see here this is trade number 1, number 2 here, 3, 4, and 5. And out of those 5 trades, most of them are profitable except this trade on Tuesday. So I lost on this trade. And then what I wanted to point out here, you can tell from the volume, this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So on Thursday here, I decided to take the day off, and a lot of that was due to this trade number 4 that I took here on Wednesday. So I will run through that trade. And then the other trade that I want to run through is on Friday, which is my trade number 5, and this trade caused me to pretty much call it a half day on Friday. Both of those trades are profitable, and the reason that I want to go through it is as very important step in your trading career where you're in profit and you need to know that it's time to stop because of your overconfidence or for other reasons. And I'll go through on more detail on those 2 specific trades. I switch here to the charts that I normally look at when I do my intraday trading, and we are going to zoom in on that trade on Thursday first. So on the left, that's the 5-minute chart, and on the right is the tick-based chart. So I'm going to zoom into that specific trade so we can look at it a lot closer, and I will run through why this was a very good trade and why I decided to take the next day off. So this was the trade that I took on Thursday, so trade number 4, and the entry was on this candle, and you can see my average is 40,521. So it's showing that on the time-based chart. I denote this by this horizontal line. And again, my trades are not showing on ThinkOrSwim because I execute them on NinjaTrader as far as the intraday trading goes. And on the right, on the tick base, on that same exact trade, I'm showing it right here. So my entry was at 40,521. And this was a very good trade because I actually hit more than my target. So normally when I enter, my risk to reward is more or less 1-to-1. So with that 521 entry, my exit was actually going to be plus 70. That's normally what I have. So it was going to be at 591. So 591 is right here. But normally something that I do is if I'm seeing a good momentum with it, I want to pretty much catch the ride, right? So what I did was I kept increasing this as it was getting closer. So I was increasing the target, and my limit pretty much was following it from the ATM that I have on NinjaTrader. And I was so happy with this trade because it ended up hitting 100 points. So roughly, let's just say that. I mean, it's hard to do it 1-to-1, but this was at 621. So I was quite happy with the trade because that entire trade from 521 to 621 was a total of 100 points. So that 100 points with the 2 E-mini that I traded were 1 E-mini per point is $5. So for 2 e-minis, 1 point is $10. So 100 times 10, that was $1,000. So I was pretty excited with that trade. It was it hit 100 points, and it's been a while since I had a clean trade like that where it hit the target as opposed to getting stopped out while in profit. However, you probably noticed on this tick base, I'm running it through on the tick base as opposed to the time base because it's a lot cleaner when you look at it. You can see all of these that I pretty much missed out on. And if we look at the number of where that was, so let me just draw an arrow here so you can take a look. So take a look up here, and I'm gonna move the mouse. So just look at the high essentially. So wherever that high goes, and I'm gonna go through again. Maybe you don't hit the peak, but let's just say let's look at this candle. You can see there that the high, it got to 872. So from my exit of 621, if I was somehow able to adjust my target higher, I would have gotten, another 250 points or so. And that 250 points from that 621, that would have been another $2,500. And then if we look here, the ultimate peak, maybe that was the best. 872, and I go here right there. So that was at 911. So let's just round up to 921 just to make the math easier. That would have been closer to 300 points, which would have been $3,000. And it was those thoughts right there that I knew that I was done for the day because I would be chasing, right? And this is the tough part because I know I had a great day. I got $1,000 from that trade. Barely, I don't think I was ever underwater at all, yet I was hating myself or telling myself, oh man, I missed out. And it was those thoughts that I knew that it was messing with my psychology. And that was the main reason why I took the entire Thursday off, because I knew that this trade would always be in the back of my head. So as a trader, it's really important to know yourself, and you to pretty much see the signs when you have too much confidence, because overconfidence can be very bad in trading because the market can humble you really, really quickly. The next trade I want to talk about is the last trade that I took for the week. Really, the last trade I took on Friday, which was the reason why I ended up actually calling it an early day on Friday. So we will zoom into that one trade, which is trade number 5. So you probably can see the reason why I told myself it's time to call it a day, but let me just do the markings here. You can see that our entry here was at 41,313. I entered with 2 e-minis. Just on the time base and tick base, you can see that 41,313 on there as well. The tricky part with this one was I played very conservative because of the previous trade that I took on Wednesday. I was protecting myself. So instead of allowing my ATM to do its thing, I moved my stop into profit rather early. So when I enter a trade, I'll do it on this. I'll show it on the time base because it's a lot easier to see the 1-to-1. All right, so my risk to reward is roughly 1-to-1. On the stop, I have 60 points on there. So from our entry of 41,313, you subtract 60. That was about 41,253. So we'll draw where that stop was. So roughly around there. And then our target, instead of 60, I go for a target of 70 points. The reason I do that is because of the fees and commissions. So 313 plus 70 points, so it's about 383. So let's just say my target was right there, 41,383. But if you look at this trade, you can see, maybe it's harder to see, but you can see this little wick that occurred here. So what happened was I did move my stop early. That's because I was being conservative. So it took me out of the trade. So I was able to get a profit of, I think, roughly just 8 or 9 points. So I put my stop about plus 10. And unfortunately, it ran away. So this trade ran away. So I got, roughly about $90 from it, from the 9 points. But as you can see, the movement here, I'm going to draw an arrow here again on the high so you can take a look at that number. And I'm going to put my mouse to this big candle right here, which is 119 points. You can see the high there. It was at 41,467. So that's at least 150 points that I missed out on. And because of that, I knew that, okay, this was another trade that got away and there was no way I was going to chase. And my psychology was already messed up. And that was the main reason that I said, okay, we're calling it a day. We had a nice strong week. And those are type of trades that happens. And it's something that you just need to accept. And pretty much sometimes you just got to know that it got away and there will be other opportunities next time. And if you know that you're in a mental state that you won't be logical anymore, I highly recommend to just, be humble and step away, because too many times in the past I've tried to chase these because I was like, I was on the right path and I could have made so much more money, and it ended up being a disaster. So hopefully these two examples are pretty helpful for traders out there on dealing with your psychology. Second topic is the account statement, transparency part of my content. And the first one I'll go through is my account statement on the NinjaTrader. So NinjaTrader is where I use to execute my intraday trades, because the margin for an E-mini is a lot less than what it is for ThinkOrSwim. So we'll go on the upper right here. We'll look at the statements. And what I'll focus on is I'll look at instead of the account balance history that I normally do, I'll just go through performance. And this is what I normally actually post on YouTube posts and other social media platforms to show how I did for the week. So for the week, what we're showing here is essentially from past Sunday, April 27th, and I'm recording this right now on Saturday, May 3rd. So we'll run this performance report and we'll go through this. Essentially for the week on NinjaTrader, happy to say that I had a total profit of $1,580.88. And for this week, I did have 80% of my trades that was profitable. I had a trade here where I lost, let's see, where is that number? Right there. So it was $140 that I lost on one of the trades that I took. And something that got to get used to with NinjaTrader, because on the losing trade, it says I lost 2 trades and 2 contracts, but really I entered with 2 contracts when I made that trade. So really it was just one trade. So for topic number 3, we will go through the account statement for ThinkOrSwim. This is where I do my swing trading. For this week, I actually did not do any swing trading, and that's because I just didn't have a good entry, or I wasn't sure where we were going, because we were hitting that level where we were at Liberation Day, which is when tariffs were announced. So if we look at these descriptions here, the only real change was on this line item. So this is the interest on the cash on my account. It's basically whatever cash is in your cash and sweep vehicle in ThinkOrSwim. It does earn a little interest, but it's nothing amazing compared to if you had it in a high yield savings account. So for the account statement for this week, since I didn't really do any swing, I don't need to bring the calculator to pretty much do, ending cash minus the starting cash. But as I mentioned in my other videos, it's really annoying that they're now separate. So you have the cash and sweep vehicle here, and you have this futures cash balance. And how it works, you can see we had a starting balance on the future side at 3,300, and then that was subtracted. So this number that was subtracted, that was pretty much just brought back into my cash and sweep vehicle. So that's where you'll see that number there. So really, in reality, for this week, it was just a total of $1.21. So we'll bring the calculator here just to do the sum. So our previous balance was $1,580.88. So that was our performance for our intraday at NinjaTrader. and we'll add the interest $1.21 from ThinkOrSwim, because I again did not do any swing trading, so really that was just my results there, and that's how I came up with the total for the week that I pretty much shared on Friday. So this week our income is $1,582.09. So I'm quite happy with that, and hopefully we can continue building up. So year to date, we're doing well. So hopefully this was helpful to everybody. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Please give me some feedback on any other topics that may be of help. All right, I'll see you in the next one.